Hi everyone, Meteorologist Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center, and it's our Saturday edition of our 19atSIX Weekend Weather Show. We're live almost wherever you stream. We're live on the 24/7 Weather Streaming channel. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we're live on the Fox 19 First Alert Weather app. We are not, unfortunately, on the air on Fox19.com or the Fox 19 News app. That's due to some technical issues, and our engineers are fully aware of that. Running a few minutes late, hence why I'm out of breath. But we are looking at temperatures tonight getting very cold. In fact, very close to record-breaking cold. And I'm giving you that promise in the first few minutes of 19atSIX. Because I'm running late, we're doing it right now. So tonight, our temperature dipping down to 46 degrees. There must be an error with the numbers. That's my fault. 46 degrees for tonight. And then for tomorrow, we are warming up to a high of 74. So back in the 70s tomorrow for most of the tri-state. And the 7-day forecast I have updated, and not much change. In fact, we're looking at really warm conditions going in to Tuesday up to 86. By Wednesday, we break into the low 90s. Same goes for your Thursday. And then there are some question marks going into next weekend with rain chances and temperatures. I'll talk about that here in a couple of minutes. But the 7-day forecast here, we are indeed looking at, well, the short stint of chilly conditions coming to an end by Monday morning. So after that, temperatures look to be pretty warm, especially for this time of the year. So thank you all so much for joining us here on this 19atSIX weather show. Again, we're live wherever you stream, except for Fox19.com and the Fox 19 News app. So what I want to do real quick is I want to fix that number first. That way it doesn't reflect on all of our graphics. But if you have any comments or questions, highly encourage you to go to our Facebook page, whether it's the Fox 19 Facebook page or my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have or are thinking. So take a look at these numbers, because for some reason there's one number that just, I see, I hit the wrong button. You do that sometimes in TV. All right, so let's go ahead and double check. Make sure our T's are dotted and our I's are crossed, right? Okay, we're good. So one thing to keep in mind too is that tonight, with how cold it's going to be, again, we're really close to record-breaking cold. In fact, what I'm going to do real quick is show you this graphic. And yes, we've got these big temperature swings. So our record low tomorrow morning is 44 degrees. That was set back in 1956. Sunday morning, our forecast low is 46 degrees. So very, very close. And what's crazy to think about is just over a week ago, we were dealing with record high temperatures. So August 29th had a high of 98. And temperatures tonight are going to be very, very close to record low temperatures. And something to keep in mind, too, is that we could have some patchy frost tomorrow morning for a couple of spots. Not in Cincinnati. I do not suspect that to be the case in Cincinnati. What I'm going to do now is turn on radar, and I want to draw a circle to where, if there were any frost development, where it may be. And once the radar map loads, we'll be able to show you that. And yeah, so the radar beams, a good indicator of quiet weather is if you look at the radar beams, they're moving slow. They're not moving fast at all because there's nothing to track because of how clear it is. So if there's any spots that could potentially see some patchy frost, would be pretty much probably right through here. So this includes Clinton and Highland counties because temperatures out here are going to be a little bit colder, whereas over here, still chilly, still pretty cold, but not looking as likely to get into those upper 30s. And one place that I might also want to highlight would be up here. So Fayette, Union County in Indiana, and then Clinton and Highland County in Ohio. Those two spots could possibly see the potential for some patchy frost. I'm not looking at widespread issues. I'm not looking at this being a plant killer, but there could be temperatures in the upper 30s, really close enough to where you might see a few blades showing a little bit of frost on it. So if you have potted plants outside, you might want to bring them in just to be on the safe side. Not to mention have them out in the 40s, so it's hard on a plant in general. But today we are looking at what was a really nice day. I loved today. I had my windows open when I was driving. I went on a nice walk this morning. It was just a beautiful day. This is my kind of weather. I'm done with the heat. I'm not sure about you, but I'm certainly ready for fall conditions. So today's high was 70 degrees at CVG. That's 12 degrees below normal. So, of course, chilly. This morning's low was 52 degrees, and that's 8 degrees below normal. So below normal temperatures, not just for today, but also tomorrow. But then after that, we are looking at a quick rebound. So let's look at the morning temperatures across the Fox 19 Now viewing area. So some of these airports did not report, but most of them did. We had a morning low of 48 down in Falmouth, Kentucky. Most of everyone else was in the 50s. 52 towards Hamilton, 54 at the Lunken Airport, 52 at Harrison and at CVG, 51 in Batavia, 50 in Middletown and in Lebanon. Richmond, Indiana, just north of Union County, 46 degrees there. And today's highs were generally in the upper 60s and the low 70s. 72, the warmer spots towards Hamilton and at the Lunken Airport. And right now we're still in those upper 60s and low 70s, so it's a little bit cooler off to the north and west. Richmond, Indiana right now, 63 degrees and a very dry air mass. Dew points in the upper 30s and the low 40s. So looking at quite the dry air, the cool air, and it's been a little breezy too. Something also that I noted yesterday on the 10 o'clock newscast, filling in for Chief Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. And right now, winds are sustained anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. Gusts getting as high as 25 miles per hour towards CVG and 20 mile per hour wind gusts towards Batavia, Wilmington, even up in Lebanon and in Middletown. And that is precisely why today is not a good day to burn, because simply for the fact of it being how dry things have been. We have really dry vegetation. You have the dew points in the 30s and 40s. That indicates a very dry air mass. So dry vegetation, despite the rain yesterday, vegetation is still very dry. You have those winds. You have the cool air. All factors that could easily spread a fire. So if you're thinking with how cool it's going to be tonight to light a fire, not a good idea. And in fact, 4 counties in the Fox 19 Now viewing area are officially under burn ban. So I checked this out. So it is as of today. Highland County in Ohio, state fire marshal issued burn ban. They don't do that very often, but there are, I believe, 22 counties in Ohio that the state fire marshal did declare a burn ban for, and you could be it could be enforced. So you could be having to deal with law enforcement if you disobey that burn ban. In Kentucky, Grant and Owen counties, those were both issued by their county emergency management. Same goes for Indiana. Switzerland County also under a burn ban until further notice. So some of these counties taking this very seriously because, again, of how dry it is, a fire could easily spread this time of the year. And just something to keep in mind. Even if you're not in these counties, something to, as I mentioned, keep in mind for the fact that it's just been so dry and it's still breezy out there here this evening. So the numbers are correct. So let's show you that tonight's low temperature again. Shouldn't be no air temperatures. There we go. So tonight's low is 46. As I mentioned, our record low is 44 degrees. So very close to record lows overnight tonight with clear skies. And then tomorrow, our high temperature going up to 74 degrees, looking at a lot of sunshine, so a cool day. But the winds will be manageable tomorrow. And we're looking at mostly sunny conditions. So for the Bengals game day forecast, it's looking good. Of course, as we're the official flagship station of the Cincinnati Bengals, we got all the coverage here tonight. on Fox 19 and tomorrow morning. And there should be a lot of fun stuff that we're having for the Bengals. But kickoff at 1 o'clock, 67 degrees. And if there are any questions or comments, I'll check those out right now on the Facebook page. Cheyenne says, I can't wait until we stay in fall temperatures. I could not agree more. And I was looking at some long-term data. I'll share those thoughts with you here in just a little bit. It will eventually come. It has to. It has to. But we got some extended period of time before we're going to get there. But I did see a glimmer of hope in some long-term data. And I'll show you that here. Or I can't show you the data per se, but I will discuss it here in just a little bit. Susan says, hi, what an amazing day, so beautiful. It is gorgeous out there. Had, after yesterday's rain, some green showing up in the grass for the first time in what seems to be quite a while. So definitely nice to have a day like today. I'm checking my Facebook page real quick to ensure I don't miss any comments or questions there. And then we'll move on to the forecast that's coming, and it's going to be hot. By the way, hope you all are having a great Saturday so far. Have you been rooting for any college football games today? Rooting for any teams? Let me know in the comments if you've been rooting for a specific college. I know right now my Bobcats are playing against South Alabama, looking really excited for that game. Unfortunately, they lost last week to Syracuse, though Syracuse won today, so it tells me they're a legitimate football team. They beat Georgia Tech, a ranked team. So I love college football, so sorry, I can get really nerdy into that. I have conversations with Joe and Jeremy all the time in between breaks. Betty says, will it get warmer? Yes. Beginning tomorrow, it's going to get a little bit warmer than today. Each day getting a little bit warmer and then getting just hot by the middle of next week. Betty asking about the second weekend of October. That was part of what I was looking at for that glimmer of hope. Second week of October, I can't really give numbers right now that far out. There's just a huge range of variability. The pattern is beginning to suggest a change of cooler and wetter conditions for mid-October. So that second weekend of October, Betty, right now, the best I can say is that compared to what we've got the next few weeks, models are beginning to suggest that we will see a pattern shift by then of cooler and perhaps some wet conditions in the tri-state. So that's the best I can tell you right now, Betty. I was going to share that later, but since you asked, I told you now. I'm not one to bury the lead or, try to, what do they call that? If you try to tease something to keep people watching. I don't like doing that. Though, got to keep a structure, so I can't always reveal stuff immediately when somebody asks all the stuff. But for you, Betty, it looks to be a little bit cooler and a little bit more wet the second weekend of October. That far out, though, a lot can change. But as I was suggesting, that the models are beginning to show that shift in the pattern, which I love to see that. I'm sure a lot of you out there want to see it too. And Betty, rooting for Ohio State. I'm sure you're really happy today with that loss with Michigan against Texas. And then Angela chiming in on the Fox 19 Facebook page. Can't believe UC lost. Yeah, I was going to wear a UC tie. I have a vintage UC tie. I believe I got it at a thrift shop. And I love going to thrift stores. But, try to be environmentally conscious and try to wear, refurbished clothes or, things like that. But the tie is a really old UC tie. I think my mom got it for me. It was really, cheap, and it's a nice tie. I've just never worn it yet because I really don't have any ties to UC, pun not intended. But I was going to try to unveil that tonight, but they lost. I don't know. I have an orange tie, though, for the Bengals. So, yeah, that was a tough loss. Reagan and I were discussing that earlier in the newsroom. That just cardiac cats. They earned that nickname for a reason. So tomorrow, again, temperatures will be mild, 74 the actual high temperature for tomorrow, with sunshine and a light breeze. We're not looking at anything like today, how it was breezy at times. And tomorrow, keep in mind, if you're going to be outside enjoying some of the nice fresh air, the sunshine, the weed pollen count on the very high side, the ragweed pollen count in particular. And that ragweed, I tell you what, it bothers me a lot. So definitely something I'd take in mind whenever I'm having the windows down or being outside for an extended period of time. So if you are traveling tomorrow, so one thing we've started doing on the weekend shows, if you watch us at 10 o'clock on Saturdays or Sundays, is we try to implement some travel conditions, because a lot of folks travel across the region on weekends here in the tri-state, and I want to make sure that you know what you're running into if you can, because sometimes there are drastic changes. You can see snow in Columbus and rain in Cincinnati, or a heat wave in central Kentucky, but bone-chilling conditions in Cincinnati. So, you know, in this case, it's all pretty similar. But something I just started doing, talking with our producer, Justin, who does a great job in structuring our newscasts over the weekends. And, yeah, so started doing that more. I say all that to show you that tomorrow's forecast across the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley region, looking dry. Temperatures in the upper 60s for Pittsburgh and in Cleveland. And then we also have the low 70s in Indianapolis, Columbus with sunshine, Lexington at 74, upper 70s in Nashville, and over towards St. Louis. So pretty good day on tap for tomorrow. And, you know, spoiler alert, it's going to be dry for the next several days. Now, there are some questions about what's to come the end of the work week. I mentioned at the top of this at around 6:05 with the 7-day forecast, but we'll dive into that right now. So the muggy meter, of course, we're keeping dry conditions. We're not looking at dew points that's going to be muggy. So though it's going to be hot, the takeaway with it, the positive of it at least, is that it's not going to be humid. It's just going to be a dry heat. Though hot is hot. Doesn't matter if the dew points are high or not. It's going to feel hotter if you have more dew points. But it's still going to be hot Wednesday and Thursday. Taking a break real quick. Got to drink some body armor. All right. And I'm going to double check, make sure I don't miss any comments on my Facebook page. Okay, I believe we caught up on all those comments. Let's go ahead and continue on with what I'm discussing. So, yeah, the next several days, we're dry. We've got sunshine Monday, sunshine Tuesday, a little bit of high thin clouds moving in Wednesday afternoon into Thursday. But note where the clouds are coming from. We got high thin clouds off to the south. They're increasing on Friday. And notice this rain activity here. This is where the questions are beginning to show up. What's going to happen at the end of the week into next weekend? I'll be honest, there is a lot of uncertainty here. We could be looking at a really dry, hot weekend, or we could be looking at a cloudy, rainy weekend. There's a big disparity. And I wish I could give you a better answer than that, but it's pretty much split down the middle in terms of uncertainty. And I will show you what I'm talking about. So let's begin with the tropical development that's going on in the Atlantic and the Gulf. So there are currently 3 different systems right now that the National Hurricane Center is currently tracking. And that is 2 systems out here in the central Atlantic, one of which does have a better confidence of gaining strength in the next 7 days. But the one we're monitoring are not these, but this over here, right along the Mexican coastline. And this system here has high confidence of developing and moving in our direction. So here's that potential tropical system. It's not even categorized yet. It's not even in our systems in terms of having a name or technicality stuff, but it does have winds right now at around 25 miles per hour. It's this area of low pressure. Not a strong low right now, but it could become a tropical storm. And this is a couple of what we call spaghetti plots. It's different forecast models that kind of give you a track as to where it is going to move. So this right here is the cold front that moved through for us. It brought us that cooler air. Well, actually, it's technically up here. But this right here, it's been very active pattern for rain for folks towards the Gulf Coast into Florida. But this thing is going to kind of snake around it, and it could make its way towards the Ohio Valley. There's a lot of uncertainty, though, with this. So you can see the long-range computer model tracks right here, very similar. And it's going to have a lot of, variability as to where this could shift or move. But you can see they all kind of track in the same direction. So could go up the upper Mississippi River Valley, and then there's questions as to where it'll go next after that. And these go out to at least Thursday. But the forecast model I was just showing you, let's go back to that real quick when it loads. So if you're all still out there with me, so here's Thursday. Notice all those clouds. That could limit highs a little bit on Thursday. Right now I've kept it the same, but there are beginning to have some questions. Because yesterday this did pop up. I disregarded it because it was just one model. But now more models are beginning to show that this thing could move in our direction. We play it forward in time for Friday, and there it is. This is Friday afternoon. Notice we're still dry on Friday, but this system is bringing in rain towards western Kentucky, the Tennessee Valley, over towards Arkansas, Missouri. And mind you, this thing can move a lot, and this is going to change. It will change undoubtedly, but I'm just giving you that heads up that this is something we're going to need to watch, because it could make a big difference, not just with temperatures, but also with rain chances. This model is showing rain chances Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'm waiting for Tuesday and Tuesday. So for those of you who've been wanting rain, this might be the answer. However, there's a lot of uncertainty. I cannot stress that enough. When it comes to tropical systems, especially inland for several days out, a lot will change. But it is a glimmer of hope that a pattern change is possible, though the odds are not great. So with that in mind, let's pull up that 7-day forecast. I have dropped the temperatures a little bit over the weekend just to reflect not even that, but even the other models are actually bringing temperatures down slightly. Still above normal, but not quite as hot as what it is going to be on Wednesday and Thursday. So here's that 7-day forecast. Again, 74 for tomorrow after a very cold morning low of 46. Remember, very close to record lows. A record low in Cincinnati is that CVG is 44, set back in 1956. So very, very close to that. Sunday night into Monday morning, 47, so still another chilly day. And then Monday we're up to 81, which is very close to normal for this time of the year. And then from that point onward, we get warm quick. 86 for Tuesday, 90 on Wednesday, 91 Thursday. So really hot conditions here. And then this is where the question marks show up. Will we see parts of the remnants of that tropical system? And right now, we don't know. That's just the case. But it is something that we are watching. And it is something that if it does transpire to be something that impacts us, it's going to make a big difference. It could make a big difference, not just with temperatures, but with rain. And I can't stress enough how much I want that to happen, because we really need the rain. But confidence is extremely low. In fact, I debated not even talking about this, but I want to be transparent with you all. So, again, the takeaway of this forecast, if I had to give you 3 bullet points, the first one is record cold possible tonight. Maybe even some patchy frost. Can't rule that out for folks in Fayette, Union, Clinton, Highland counties. A quick return of the heat, but humidity is in check. Still looking hot, though, Wednesday and Thursday. And then big unknown for Friday into next weekend as to whether or not we're going to stay hot and dry or if we'll see potential of rain moving into the region. And again, very low confidence. There's a lot of unknowns with that. But keeping that in mind, let's look at beyond the 7-day forecast. So this is 7-day and beyond. So here it is. I got temperatures still looking pretty warm. And again, if that tropical system does maintain itself and does move into the tri-state and bring us rain for a few days, these numbers are out the window. But of course, we'll get there when we get there. Right now, there's just too much to consider for that. So I erred on the side of caution. I kept it to where we expect right now if that system does fall apart. So mid to upper 80s through the next 14 days. So the dates up here reflect, of course, what I'm discussing. This is Sunday, September 15th, Tuesday, September 17th, which looks dry, 88 degrees and partly cloudy. And then I introduced Wednesday of the following week, the 18th, through the 20th, some pop-up storm chances. It does look like we do get a little bit more humidity at that point. Still looks warm, doesn't look as warm, but it looks like we're looking at an increase in humidity and the potential for pop-up storm chances at that point. Does it look active? No. It looks like it's going to be those pop-up summertime storms. So with this being nearly 14 days out, for those of you asking for severe potential, can't really give that much information for you. If there was anything to be strong out of this, it would probably be close to Friday and Saturday of the 20th and 21st. So that far out, wouldn't even bet on that. And I will say what Betty was referring to on my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX. Betty was asking about the second weekend of October. They're making plans for that time. And it does look like the beginning of October, there's going to be a lot more temperature variability day to day. And then you go into the second week of October, it looks cooler and it looks wetter. And that's according to an ensemble model, like a group of different model outputs. And what we, the best way to understand that is that you have all these different models. The models have a bunch of different equations in them, ones that I had to learn in college, which I'm actually learning a little bit, or not learning, but rather refreshing myself with lately. And very, very, I'm trying to describe this. It's a lot of fun, but it's also, can be a little scary. There's a lot of equations and a lot of math involved with meteorology. It's fun, though. Helps you understand the atmosphere a bit more. But anyway, the models take those types of equations, you give them an input of current temperatures, current conditions, rainfall reports. That's why rainfall reports are really important. You can use those in future modeling. And you get an output. One model gives you one output. But if you have an ensemble, it's one model, but you change variables throughout those equations, and it gives you a slew of answers. We call that an ensemble. So something that I was looking at for October, because I was curious myself, when is this going to get better in terms of temperatures? And it looks like, keep an eye out for the end of the first week into the second week of October. We could be looking at a cooler pattern with perhaps some wetter conditions in the tri-state. That far out, you know, I'm not going to say that stuff on the air. So this is between us. on 19 at 6. You get the exclusive stuff here. You get the nerdy side of me. Nerdier, I should say. Okay, look at my Facebook page real quick. No new comments there. No new comments on the Fox 19 Facebook page. And yeah, we do have those drought conditions persisting, and the forecast of the 7-day, which I'll switch back to that real quick, does not favor any relief. Though, like I said, if you want rain, if you want cooler conditions, you got to keep a very close eye on the tropical system now in the Gulf of Mexico. I discussed it a moment ago, but that system could very well impact us the end of the week ahead into next weekend. A lot of question marks. But right now, we're going to call it partly cloudy next weekend and temperatures in the mid-80s. But it looks hot, no doubt, Wednesday and Thursday. Pretty warm on Tuesday also, 86 for the high then. But if you like the fall weather, enjoy it. Enjoy it tonight. Enjoy it tomorrow. Enjoy Monday morning, although for kids at the bus stop, make sure they're covered up in layers. Monday's going to be one of those days. In fact, I would say for kids who are going to school, Monday and Tuesday, even Wednesday, honestly, are days where they got to have some layers in the morning and then shed them in the afternoon, especially Wednesday. Wednesday, a big temperature disparity between morning low of 56 and a high of 90, which just goes to show you how dry the air mass is that we're dealing with next week, at least through Thursday. So no more comments. So I'm assuming that everyone's probably going back outside or tuning back into some college football. So in that regard, we're going to go ahead and close things off here. So thank you for those of you who joined us here on 19 at 6. Always appreciate the comments, the questions, the views. Just simply knowing that you're here makes me happy, makes me feel like I'm doing my job. And again, apologies for the delay when I came in first thing. I was trying to get radio stuff done. We have obligation to, do weather forecasts for the radio, and had some issues with trying to send that, but we're good. And gave you that promise within the first 5 minutes, though it was, right at 6:05. And then also gave you that detailed forecast, which, by the way, again, keep an eye on Friday and Saturday. Those are going to be crucial days to determine whether or not we're going to fall into a wet pattern and temperatures not being quite as warm, or if it's going to stay warm and stay dry. Right now, if you were to bet, I would bet for the warm and dry. But don't discount the potential for that tropical system to make its way into the Ohio Valley. So, appreciate you all. Thank you. And at 10 o'clock tonight, we will break down details on the 7-day forecast, give you some updates on event forecasts, including the Bengals game tomorrow, and then, of course, giving you the latest news and sports headlines here at Fox 19. So thank you all so much for joining us here on this Saturday edition of 19 at 6.